Your house is worth whatever it's worth, right? Whoever sells it. Wrong. I'm Charlie. Welcome to Moving Home with Charlie, and thank you for coming.
Charlie Landing grew up in Sussex, is the founder of Best Agent and presenter of Moving Home with Charlie.
If you want to find one of these guys, look out for those compassionate professionals. All estate agents are not the same.
So Charlie, what would be your advice for people interested in buying new builds right now?
Don't overpay. Do buy, but don't overpay. That's why I say disregard the guff. Read into the numbers and look, and it's buried. The bad news is buried in the small print, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Property Press Awards.
They may or may not be telling the truth, but you should form your own view. Get out and view, get out and view, get out and view. You cannot be in a position to make offers and have the offers accepted if you're not viewing. So be out there viewing. Pay attention to the back of the class. If you've not been watching my videos, I did one just a couple of days ago. Disregard the guff, guys. Rightmove is without a doubt the single biggest and most influential company or corporation in the UK property market. Nothing else comes close to it. It is a material factor in the housing market itself. It is something that influences what's happening in the housing market. And today, the news has come out that a very serious legal action has been brought against them, quoting £1 billion that the people want to get back from them for overcharging and for abusing their market dominance. Now, in all the years I've known Rightmove, and I've known them right from the start, these complaints have been leveled at them almost every single year about overcharging and price increases. This is very different. This is a claim that's been funded by an investment company, backed by a legal company, and led by a former member of the Competition and Market Authority. They are not messing around. They have come very well prepared and very well armed for a very serious fight, and they are risking their time and their money. So their confidence level of winning is very high. Winning, or at least negotiating, a settlement. Now, in this video, I want to talk through whether or not there is actually a basis to this claim. And on the brief bit of research that I've done, there is a very real basis. Now, that doesn't mean there's any guarantee of the agents making the claim actually winning or not. I make no predictions, but I will tell you this. If I was a gambling man and if I had to put my money down on either this claim being successful or being unsuccessful, based on what I've read already, without hesitation, I would be putting my money down on this claim being successful and being upheld, or succeeding in negotiating an out-of-court settlement. And in this video, this is going to get quite deep and nerdy, and a lot of people won't care about it. But there are a lot of people who do care about it, especially in the industry. And for movers who care about the housing market as a whole, Rightmove is one of the things that tilts the playing field. Not intentionally, but its mere existence tilts the playing field in favor of large corporations and against the interests of its consumer users, both buyers and sellers. This is my opinion, because Rightmove is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, contributor to the overvaluing problem. I'm not blaming Rightmove for the overvaluing problem. I'm saying that whether it means to or not, its existence and the way it runs its business and the way it publishes its house price indices all feed into the overvaluing problem. And the overvaluing problem is what's killing transactions. Now, Rightmove doesn't care about transaction volumes because Rightmove's income isn't based on transactions. Rightmove gets a fixed subscription, the fixed advertising subscription from all of its customers, whether they be one branch estate agents, whether they be online estate agents, whether they be big national chains of estate agents, or whether they be house builders. So Rightmove's income is pretty much flat and level, whatever transactions are doing. This is why it's such a popular company with the stock market. Now, what is the beef that agents have with Rightmove that's led them to such a massive claim? Because this must have taken years to put together. The beef is not that Rightmove isn't a worthwhile and good website. It certainly is, right? It's a household name. It's a favorite for surfing, for property. It's a major source of leads for estate agents. And it's used every day by literally millions of people. It's a bit long in the tooth. It's been around a long time. It's 25 years old. It's kind of like, it is at 90s tech, but it was conceived in the 90s. But it is a decent functioning advertising platform for the property market. And the first question you hear from people is, well, hang on, if agents don't like it, why don't they just not use it? And the answer is because sellers punish agents who don't use Rightmove. Okay. And I personally know agents who have in the past objected so extremely to Rightmove's massive annual price increases when they're already making massive profits, that they have voted with their wallets and decided to come off Rightmove. And they've said to their customers, don't worry, it's not going to affect our ability to sell your house. And it doesn't. And there are agents who aren't on Rightmove who do sell houses. You don't need to be on Rightmove in order to sell a house. You can sell a house with Zoopla, on the market, social media, local papers, that kind of stuff. You can still find a market. Will you miss some people? Yeah, you will. Does that mean you won't get what your house is worth? No, it doesn't. You can still get your house's full value without Rightmove. But sellers, if you're not on Rightmove, I'm not even going to think about using you. That is the attitude of most sellers. And to those sellers, I would say, do you care how your agent sells your house or just if they do? Because with a good agent, you shouldn't care where they advertise it, right? But nevertheless, the fact is that Rightmove is a required thing by almost all sellers. And the agents who have tried to come off Rightmove and not use it have mostly, but not all, found that it damaged their business too much and they had no choice but to go back on. And that is the crux of this matter. They had no choice but to go back on because Rightmove is exploiting its dominant market position. Give you an idea, Rightmove, it's ballpark £2,000 a month per branch, per agent, right? So every agent branch having to pay Rightmove £2,000 a month, but a bit more, a bit less, it depends, right? For smaller agents. But big corporates get very hefty discounts. It gives them a hugely unfair advantage over small agents. Guess what? Corporations rubbing each other's backs. Now, the underinformed think that this is a greed issue with the people who run Rightmove, but they misunderstand how corporations work. Okay, corporations are run by salaried employees and salaried directors who must do as directed by the board, and the board must do what its shareholders want. So it is Rightmove shareholders who are behind the greed, any accusation of greed here, not the people running it. Okay. And it's worth noting that about 25% of Rightmove is owned by American hedge funds. So BlackRock, Vanguard, these kind of guys are amongst the biggest investors in Rightmove, the biggest shareholders in Rightmove. And they have a say and they exercise their power because Rightmove has the dubious honor of being the most profitable company on the London Stock Exchange when measured by net profit as a percentage of turnover. It's kind of like 70% profit, okay? And that's where agents' beef comes in. You're already making £250 million a year profit, and you're giving us a how much increase did you say? 17%, 15%, 13%, every single year. Bash, bash, bash. Really big, tough increases, whether the agents have had a good year or whether they've had a bad year. Now, my personal view on Rightmove, and by the way, I have a long-standing involvement, like in many different ways. I've had involvement with Rightmove. I had the original founding managing director and finance director of Rightmove in my offices in London back in the early 2000s, discussing the combination of my CRM system and Rightmove as the perfect kind of housing market platform, which I agree with and they agree with. It got derailed by my shareholders. And on behalf of my estate agency customers, I've been uploading their properties to Rightmove and importing their buying applicants from Rightmove into their CRM system to help get viewings and offers and deals. And to this day, Best Agent platform uploads to Rightmove on behalf of its agent CRM users, and it also imports buyers from Rightmove into their CRM. So we all have a stake in Rightmove's existence if we're involved in the housing market. Buyers, sellers, agents, prop tech providers, CRMs, everybody, the government, everyone. Now, my view is that Rightmove had the opportunity to make a much bigger difference to the housing market and a more positive difference, like bring real benefit to the housing market. It had a huge opportunity to do it, and it hasn't done it. It's rested on its laurels. There's been barely any innovation over the years. They occasionally buy up other companies and stuff, but in terms of their core product, there's been very, very little innovation. For example, when I first launched the Best Agent portal, Best Agent property site, one of the things that we had was that on the search results page, on the list page, you could scroll through all the photographs on a property without having to click into it. Okay, so if you just want to have a quick squiz through the photographs, now Rightmove didn't do that when we started, but not long after that, Rightmove copied that, and now they do have that slideshow on the list page. Great, that's how competition works. But whether it comes to the housing crisis, the housing market, homelessness, innovation, actually working with agents, and this is not, by the way, and this is not a criticism of anyone who works at Rightmove. It's a criticism of the direction that comes from their shareholders, because their shareholders don't care about the UK housing market. That is the crux of this matter. American hedge funds do not care about the feelings of small British estate agents. American hedge funds do not care about the housing crisis in the UK or homelessness. American hedge funds do not care about Rightmove innovating or not innovating. And in fact, when you have such an effective cash cow golden goose as Rightmove has been for its shareholders for so long, the number one instruction from shareholders will be, don't change anything. Do not change anything, right? We are milking this cow. It's been the most lucrative cow that we've ever milked in the UK. Don't change anything, okay? You want to tinker at the edges, do small things? That's fine. You do not upset this cash cow, okay? That's the reason. And it's a real shame and it's a real missed opportunity. And had Rightmove had direction and influence from stakeholders in the UK housing market, I don't think anybody would actually object to Rightmove's insane profitability if they were making a positive difference. But every single year they put out their annual report, they go, oh, we're committed to improving the UK housing market. And yet, since their existence, three things have happened. Housing transactions have got slower. Estate agency fees have gone down. And Rightmove's profits have gone up. Those are the three things that have happened. Incontrovertible facts. Okay? So Rightmove's existence as a tech, if you want to call it, I don't think it is a tech company. It's tech doesn't deserve, it's just not good enough to deserve that label. It is an advertising. It's just an advertising website, right? And yes, it's got lots of data on the back end. And yes, blah, blah. But there's no technological innovation from Rightmove whatsoever. It's just an advertising site. And it gives agents pie charts. And by the way, just so you know, agents who come around to your house with a pie chart from Rightmove, they can adjust the boundaries to make the pie chart look exactly how they want to. Exclude that postcode, include that postcode, exclude that property type. Oh, look, we're number one. And it's all just guff. And Rightmove's house price index, which isn't a house price, it's asking prices, because they don't publish sold prices in their index, is 100 grand more than all of the others, right? All of the others are in the 200 and something thousand pounds, 260, 270,000 pounds. And Rightmove's is 370,000 pounds. And so it feeds overvaluing. It's a major contributor to the problem between buyer and seller expectations, especially in this market. Okay, so roughly speaking, Rightmove costs agents between 7 and 10% of their entire turnover. Right? Think about that. It's massive, absolutely massive. And by the way, for all agents who actually use Rightmove properly, it still can generate leads and value for money. It's still financially a viable thing. And again, my problem is not that Rightmove has been increasing its fees as much as it has over the years. It's that it hasn't done anything to justify them. And had it done so, had it actually improved deal times and improved lead quality and improved its agents' businesses, I doubt they'd be making this claim. So let's get into the basis of the claim. Who do we have here? Let's get into the basis of the claim. Hi, guys. The basis of the £1 billion group action is a collective redress claim brought by thousands of UK estate agents. I'm going to put this slightly different thing on screen while I read this. Against Rightmove. So the £1 billion group action is a collective redress claim brought by thousands of UK estate agents against Rightmove, the dominant online property portal launched in... So this claim was just launched today, and it accuses Rightmove of abusing its near monopoly position to charge excessive and unfair subscription fees to estate agents for listing properties on its platform. And the key elements of the claim are overpaid fees. Agents who subscribe to Rightmove services in the past 6 years are eligible. The action seeks to recover these overpayments, estimated to total up to £1 billion across all participants. The second key element of the claim is price increases. Rightmove has imposed regular above-inflation hikes, which agents argue they had no choice but to accept due to the platform's indispensability. Yes. And market dominance exploitation. Rightmove's first mover advantage, it wasn't the first mover, by the way, has made it a must-have tool for agents, capturing over 70 to 84% of the market share for property portal instructions and listings. This, the claimants say, allows Rightmove to extract supra-competitive profits without competitive pressure from rivals like Zoopla or On the Market. Now, by the way, some people will say this is agents' own fault, and the agents launched a counter thing. On the Market was supposed to be the agent's answer to this problem, but they fluffed it. They absolutely fluffed it. They could have done it as well, and they fluffed it. They actually shot themselves in the foot, made it even worse. They harmed Zoopla, not Rightmove, when they did it. The action is, this is interesting. The action is structured as an opt-out collective proceeding under the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal regime, meaning eligible agents are automatically included unless they actively opt out. Participation is free for the claimants, with funding provided by litigation financier Innsworth Capital. The claim is led by Jeremy Newman, a former panel member of the Competition and Markets Authority and an experienced competition expert. And he's not going to take this gig, is he, if he doesn't think there are grounds for it. And the lawyers are Scott & Scott UK LLP. It's supported economically by Kairos Economics. Okay, so it's an investor that's bunged some money as well. Rightmove has confirmed receipt of the claim notice, but has not yet responded substantively. The lawsuit builds on growing industry frustration, including a February 25 petition signed by hundreds of agents calling for a CMA investigation into Rightmove's unfair and unsustainable pricing model, though no formal Competition and Markets Authority probe has been launched to date. Does it have a legal basis? This is where it gets interesting, I think. Yes, the claim has a solid legal foundation under UK competition law, though its success will hinge on evidentiary hurdles like quantifying excessiveness and proving harm. It's grounded in Chapter 2 of the Competition Act 1998 and prohibits a dominant undertaking from abusing its position to the detriment of competitors or customers. And it's definitely done that. Here, estate agents are positioned as customers harmed by Rightmove's pricing practices. Yeah. The core legal test for abuse via excessive pricing. To succeed, claimants must show, number one, dominance. That's not going to be a problem. Number two, abusive conduct. Excessive pricing qualifies as abuse if charges are A, significantly above competitive levels, B, unfair, no economic justification, exploiting locked-in customers. And the UK's Court of Appeal clarified that classic United Brands two-limb test is not exhausted, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into legal weeds there. And to succeed, the claimants must show three things, right? One, dominance, two, abusive conduct, and three, causation and harm. Agents must demonstrate that they paid more than in a competitive market, leading to quantifiable damages. Okay? And there are relevant precedents and viability. Against Pfizer, Royal Mail v Ofcom. So yeah, it's really interesting. This is really interesting. And if I was running Rightmove now, because the shareholders, I mean, £1 billion is a big chunk. I'm not sure what their cash balance is, but I doubt it's $1 billion. But it's going to have a lot of support from small agents. I don't think the beef against Rightmove is against Rightmove's existence. I think the beef is against its conduct. And like I say, it's a shame. I think it's been badly led. Not recently, but in the past. In particular, so I think it was led pretty well under its first chief executive, Ed Williams. And under Ed Williams, it wasn't this unpopular. And then the next CEO who came in, whose name I can't remember, was just, to me, I never met him, but he was just a shareholder yes boy. You know, I will come in, I will protect the golden goose, and I will keep the golden goose laying your eggs for you shareholders, and I will collect my very nice pension and share deal. And he got paid handsomely. He did it for a while. He took his money, and a couple of years ago, he was like, thanks, guys, it's been fun, I'm out of here. Which to me always is a warning sign that someone knows that there's trouble coming down the road. And given that this action will have taken months, if not years, to put together, and given that back in 2022, I could see the top of the market, and therefore Rightmove's peak as a company with its potential, I think the guy, I mean, he was like the shareholders. He didn't care about the UK housing market. He didn't care about Rightmove's customers. Didn't care. I remember once one journalist put to that previous chief executive, what do you say to this feeling about how small agents feel about Rightmove? And they quoted, Rightmove customers, Rightmove agents feeling exploited, undervalued, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, I don't recognize that commentary. I don't recognize those comments. He just was in denial, complete denial that there was even a problem. So there we go. That's my take on Rightmove's £1 billion legal battle. I mean, what can they do? They've got one or two choices. They can either go to court and fight it, or they can settle. With everything that I know about Rightmove and the history and agents and the market and these precedents and stuff, I would be doing some sums if I was Rightmove. I'd be going, right, what is it going to cost us? How long is it going to take? Because these cases can take years. They can take, at least 2 years, right? What's it going to cost us? not only in legal fees, what's it going to cost us in goodwill? It'll be a mathematical. They won't care whether or not they're guilty of it. That doesn't come into it, right? It's which is the least damaging outcome for shareholders. And I suspect that there may well be a negotiation, an out-of-court settlement conversation. Whether it reaches settlements or not, I don't know. But that's what's going to happen. And we can sit in the sidelines with our popcorn and watch. It will be a distraction for Rightmove management. Rightmove's had a famously high turnover of its road-going account management staff. Agents joke about how quickly they come and go because it's such a hateful job, because basically these are the guys that go around and say, hey, we're putting your prices up 15% this year. Yeah, we haven't done anything new. Tough shit. Suck it up. That's literally their job. And agents are just absolutely sick of it. Any questions about Rightmove? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. Wow, okay. Similarities with what's going on with Auto Trader in the car trade. Very interesting. That's from someone on X called The Tears of a Rancid Hypocrite. That's one of the most poetic X names I've come across so far. No, there we go. Right, guys, I hope if you are involved in any way, especially if you're an agent, yeah, I mean, agents, there could be, don't expect any payout anytime soon unless they do a really quick negotiation. But I would play, if I had to bet, if someone said, Charlie, there's £100 and you must bet it on either that they win and have to pay agents out, or that the action fails, I would bet this is going to win. I don't know. You never know. You know, the one thing I've learned through 35 years in multiple, endless, various legal disputes is the facts of the case rarely matter in the outcome. It's really astonishing how many court events have gone my way when they shouldn't have, and haven't gone my way when they should. It is true that the law is an ass. So I don't know, but if I was going to bet, I'd be betting that this claim is going to be successful. Poor old Sven at Rightmove. He's not going to enjoy this. Anyway, there you are, guys. Thanks very much. See you on the next one. That was just a one-off news flash. Bye-bye.